Shout out to Shot by Case, Real Coaching Podcast. Let's make it happen. Happy New Year, everyone. What's going on, baby? Everything
Thank
good?
you for coming, man.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, this is amazing right here, man.
Already.
Big time, baby. It's big time right here,
Right.
man. Yes, sir, man.
Welcome.
Wow, man. This is where the magic happens, huh?
Where it all happened at.
Yes, sir.
Some
Love
of,
it, man.
Some
Love
of
it,
your
love it,
favorite
love it.
players have sat in here.
Yes, sir.
You see, I got Sean T right up there.
Damn, man. All these guys gave you these jerseys?
Yeah. I still got jerseys at the other. That's for the second
This
location.
was up, man.
And so how I set it up was it's like a locker, you know.
I see it, man.
The Barber got
I love that.
custom jersey.
I love that. Players
number.
now.
Yep.
I love them. I love that, man. I love that jersey, man.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna make something happen for sure. I promise you. I promise you, I'm gonna push it with the kids, man. The
Come
player
on.
lounge. I promise you, I'm gonna get the kids behind you, bro. I
Let's
promise
get
you,
it.
watch. You got to go on the page. You got to. I think we have any videos. I don't think you ever look on the page.
I'm
though,
gonna look
but
on now.
It's called KBG6U. Hey, what's going on, Real? This is Coach Key, Real Coaching Podcast. I'd like to welcome you guys to another episode of Real Coaching Podcast. Happy New Year. I want to start this year off with an amazing note. 2025 is going to be a year of blessings, man. A fruitful year for everyone, man. I pray everyone is in good health and great spirits. Thank God for everything. Today we got amazing guy, Stephen Rivera, known as the Kane's Barber. Amazing guy, man. He has so many great things that he want to share today about his journey, about how he started his whole path of cutting hair, impacting the youth, impacting the real. Before we start, Steve, do you want to say anything else to the camera before we start?
Man, it's an honor to be sitting here with you on this new year. It's only right to start off the right way.
Amen.
So by you reaching out to me and being able to sit down and just, share my story, hopefully it can inspire someone out there.
Amen. You hear it. So before we start, I got some questions I want to ask. The first question I want to ask is, I wrote them on my notes. How did you get started in this barber shop, and what inspired you to want to be a barber?
How I got started in just the barbershop field was honestly, I used to get my head messed up when I was a jit by
Uh-huh.
my mom.
Right.
She's a hairstylist.
Uh-huh.
And I just got tired of going to school, seeing all the kids with fresh fades, fresh lineups. I'm wondering, like, man, I'm over here with a whole afro
Right.
and no lineup. I want to be able to look good going to school. So
Uh-huh.
eventually I had to tell mama, hey, all them scissor haircuts with this fro, we gotta stop.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
told her like straight up, I was like, you know what? I'll let you do, my top hair, but the size I gotta go to a barber shop.
Uh-huh.
Like we were talking earlier, one of the barber shops that I did go to, it was actually in Goose,
Uh-huh.
called King Cuts.
Okay.
I used to literally walk from the house, from Perrine, all the way to Goose to wait. Mind you, I'm a jit, so
Right.
I would literally have to wait there about 4 5 hours to get a haircut because all the adults would go in front of me. But in that time frame, I'm a very observant person. So as a kid, I would just be paying attention to what kind of clippers they use, what guards, and eventually I had to, learn on my own. So being that my parents, couldn't really afford for me to go get a haircut like that, I would honestly have to hustle by washing cars, cleaning houses. My mom, she was also she cleaned houses as well, so she would take me with her. We would clean together, and she would break me off a little dub or two. Back then the
Right. That's
dub
a
was a
lot.
lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Haircuts back then was about $8
Right.
man, if
Right.
that. So I was able to, save enough money, get my own haircut, and just I picked it up just by being, around the culture in the barber shop. And big shout out to I don't think it's there anymore, but King Cuts really paved the way for me to become a barber,
Uh-huh.
and as well as my mother. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, that was my starting that I didn't know eventually I'd end up being a barber.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's good right there. And so like becoming a barber, like But how did it start? Like, so when you were a barber, did you just go into a barber shop and started cutting? Like, how did the success take off where you are today? Like,
Yeah.
did you
It was
just
no, it was honestly cutting the kids in the neighborhood for I didn't know what I was doing, but I would cut like my friends in the neighborhood for fun, and eventually as I got older, I would always cut my own hair,
uh huh
and I didn't know that it would stick with me.
uh huh
And as once I graduated high school, it was more so me trying to, figure out life. And at the time, I was in law enforcement,
uh huh
right? And I met a gentleman by the name of Javaris James. He used to play a running back at the University of Miami,
uh
and
huh
his brother was locked up at the prison that I was working at, and his brother knew I was a big UM fan. And then one day he came to visit him um, at the prison. Javaris was a freshman. Boy, he ain't have no lick of hair on his face. A baby, bro, and that's named Baby J.
uh huh
Yeah, he came to visit his brother that was at the time locked up,
uh
and
huh
his brother introduced me. He was like, "Hey, this is my little brother, Baby J. Put him under your wing. He not from down here. I don't want him to be around.
right
He's not out in the street that'll
exactly
cover him. So he's like,
exactly
just make sure my brother is good."
uh
So yeah, me and Javaris became real close, and that was his freshman year. He ain't know nobody down here. One day we was about to go out, and he asked me, "Yo, Steve, who cut you up?" And I was like, "Man, I do my own haircuts, bro." He was like, "But you think you could line me up before we step out?" I was like, "Yeah, come on." So all it took was that one moment for him to see what I could do with the clippers, for him to come. Like it was like a weekly thing from then on,
nah,
and
man, that's amazing, man.
so sadly, but everything I always tell guys, in life, when one door closes, another one gonna always open for you.
Amen.
That's God's will, and I
Amen.
stick with that to this
Amen.
day. Like
Amen.
I could get let down by a job, by a relationship, or just anything. At the end of the day, God gonna make a way for you to,
Do what you
keep
got to do.
striving and open that other door that where you're meant to be in life. And in that case, it happened to me. I lost my job at an early age. And mind you, I take care of my mom and dad. So it was like one of the lowest points in my life where I really thought I had everything figured out at an early age. But unfortunately, it got taken away from me. And Javar saw like I was struggling. We was at the time we was living in by South Ridge.
Uh huh.
I forgot the apartment complex, but it was right next. Was it Caribbea's?
On 200th Street.
Yeah, it was on 200th Street, and
Okay.
bro, I remember like it was yesterday. Me and my parents got that notice on that door, like we getting evicted. I had no job. My pops wasn't working. I was the man of the house,
Right.
so it was like, man, Javars just saw it in my eyes. He was like, um, "Let's do this, Steve. Why don't you come to campus? I tell the guys you know how to cut hair." I was like, "Man, you sure? 'Cause, man, you want to make money?" I was like, "Yeah." I did that. He literally brought me to campus over there in Mahoney Pearson on the seventh floor. I was set up literally every week, bro, from 4 p.m. up until sometimes 3 in the morning, cutting hair, bro,
Grinding, man.
grinding, not knowing what I was doing. I was just learning as I went.
Right.
I knew I had the most basic thing on point, which is the lineup.
Okay. Okay.
Which
Was you fading back then or
see
no?
the fade, the blowouts, what they call tapers, I
Yeah.
was good at. But when it came to them fades, I was like, I had to learn. But the good thing was that the students also lived in the dorm rooms with the players. So the
mm.
students they want to be around.
They want to be around the players and
Yeah.
stuff. You
So
was getting
if they
customers off
if they
that.
see a Javaris James or Lamar Miller sitting in my chair,
They
they'd be
gonna
like,
wanna,
man,
man.
I'm gonna
That's man.
go to
That
him, bro.
man. That's God, man.
And eventually, bro, it was like it was a bro. I was trapping with clippers.
That's
That's
God,
what.
and it shows what God has for you is for you
Yeah,
because That was your path, and that was the path that God wanted you to take because He could have chose anybody.
Right.
It couldn't have to been you. You know, Javars could have seen another guy that he liked cutting hair, but he seen the potential in you, and God wanted that particular flower to blossom from
Yeah.
the garden. You know, so that inspired me, man, because I seen your journey and I watched your journey, and believe it or not, you cut my hair before, and
I don't even remember.
see, you don't even remember. I was young, high school
No,
at Gulliver with my friends. I was there that day.
you were there.
It was an apartment. I think it was It was somewhere where you cut our hair at in the UM. It was somewhere,
No,
and
it was,
you did a design.
it was
You did us Gulliver G's on our head. I had a mohawk, and you did the design for my hair when I was in high school, and I remember that.
damn, bro. And you just telling me this now? We
And
talking about
hey,
this?
listen, we gotta have Hey, that was a surprise, man. I wanted
That
you
was
to, because I
crazy.
had to think about it, and I was like, man, you know, I remember you cutting my hair, man. I remember, and it made me proud. It made me wanted to play hard. It did something to us that game
Yeah.
because we felt pride going to a barber and you hooked us up the night before the game, and it was late at night.
Hmm.
All of us come right after practice, and you stayed there and made sure that you cut everybody hair. We all had the Gulliver G logo on the side of our heads, and
Damn.
and you did that, and we was playing for something.
I
That
remember.
Friday nights in the game, we all came together, man. We walked off the bus, man. Everybody got the Gulliver logos on their head, and that was something huge that you did for us, man.
Damn.
And I'll never forget that as a kid. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
that was probably about 15 years ago, and
Damn.
I never forget that. So I know the impact that you make in kids' lives
Mhm.
while doing hairs. You know, about doing haircuts. You know, because I'm a coach. I'm a youth coach in the sports world where I deal with a lot of young kids, and I follow you and watch all the great things that you do in the community. With the 5,000 role model, traveling to different schools, and going to Miami Northwestern, cutting the kids' hair and at the gym. You know, just I watch you and I see that you give other kids opportunities because somebody gave you an opportunity. Because someone looked at you and saw greatness in you. And when I see you, I see myself because it was times where I'm grinding out here just waiting for the perfect opportunity to really show that what I can do. You know, you knew that you can be a great barber, but no one really gave you that platform until God put certain people in your life and it blossomed, man. You know, I ain't gonna lie, man. And that really inspired me, man. And you got the Teddy Bridgewaters of the world, man. You got all these big time NFL players, these college players that now they come to you to get a haircut, and now you can be resourceful and use your resources through them to touch other kids in the community, man. Like I'm being real, man. Like you are a blessing, man. And I had to be here to do this show, man, because to show the real of how amazing God is. You know, and just me walking in here, hearing the music, hearing how you really humbled and you really thankful for everything that God gave you. Because a lot of people, they're not humble like that. A lot of people don't accept the things that God give them and acknowledge God for all the things that He give them. You know, Proverbs 3:4-6, where it says acknowledge Him for all the things that He's done, and you always do that, man. And that inspire a lot of
Wow.
people, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You know what you do for the world, man, for the community, man. Like it really shows, man. It really shows a lot that you really care for people, man. And that's why God continue to bless you and do all the great things that He's doing in your life because you do good by people, man.
Thank you, bro. It
And
means.
and that's extra motivation to everybody whoever's
Yeah.
watching this podcast. We didn't even finish the podcast, but I just had to just bring that out of me. That was just something that
Yeah,
God was telling me
that'll
to do,
that
man.
was in
Just
your spirit.
man, God was just telling me to just to let the world know how blessed Steve is, man. Steve is a blessed guy, man, and he
Thank you.
really pour into everybody. He pour into everything that he do in this world, and we need more people out here like you, man. God blessed you with them Clippers, man, to really, really inspire to impact the world.
Yeah. Thank you,
Hmm.
man. Boy, you got me crying
No,
early in the
man,
morning.
don't do it, man. Don't do it, man.
Hey, boy, one thing about me, I don't if I need to, let some tears out, boy, I let them out.
Right, right,
But
right, right, right.
I appreciate it. What a way to start the year off, boy. Ain't
Man,
nobody ever,
2025 gonna be
you
a
know,
great
speak to me
great
like
year,
that.
man. Nah,
So
because I
thank you.
watch you and I see it. Like everybody have Instagram and social media and they use them for different platforms. And I watch how you really use yours as extra motivation. And if people really know you and know your story and know what you got, they'll really understand the
Yeah.
blessings behind it. Like it ain't just you being a show off or
No.
you think you better than other people. It really shows of the certain people God put in your life so that you can really be who you are. And what you doing is really you giving back to these kids, man, and you really showing that you really care. Like you really show. I see all the stuff that you do. You don't have to do it, but you do it because you know who put you in this
Yeah.
situation.
And I always said, like, if I ever get, to a certain level of doing what I do with Clippers, like I'm gonna always, remember where I came from and always give back to them kids. Cause
They
like I
need you,
said,
man.
yeah, like my parents couldn't afford for me to go get a nice haircut.
You get what I'm saying?
So it's only right. Okay, I'm blessed with this talent. Let me go to these schools that I see these kids, really need that help, need that motivation, want to be like the Tyreek Hills of the world and Jalen Ramsey's. Like, who wouldn't want someone to get blessed by their barber?
I agree. I agree. So
It's
like,
amazing.
how do you feel cutting these type of guys' hairs? Like, like them coming to you pulling up at your shop or you pulling up in a mobile, how do you feel? How does that make you feel as a person? Being able to touch these people are tangible and you being able to touch and feel them because some of these kids they only see them on TV.
Yeah.
So they don't even, they are real, but some of these people don't even know what it feels like to be in the presence
Yeah.
of superstars. And you cutting superstars' hairs, like, does it feel surreal sometimes?
Now I've gotten, used to
Uh huh.
being around, these high caliber players, but yes, when I first started, it was like a surreal moment. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm cutting such and such. But as I, you know, got older and realized, like, they bleed just like us, bro. They humans. We just see them on TV with the helmet on and making big plays on the big screen. But outside of that, bro, they're just like us. And for me, it's honestly an honor, a blessing to be able to go to their homes, which is their you know outside of football is their private place.
Uh huh.
So I get motivated by just going in some of these houses and just seeing like, damn, these guys young, living in these big old mansions, like, but it makes me, happy that they trust me to come into their homes around their families and be able to just sit down and talk, chop it up with them and about anything, bro. Whatever they going through, whether it be football at home or just to kick it,
Mm
they're comfortable to, talk to me.
hmm. Mm hmm.
And it's just crazy because I'm like, yo, they could have picked any barber out here, but yet they want to go with Kane's barber. But it's the heart in me. That's how I always say it. Like, it's a lot of talented barbers out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm a humble beast. I'm good at what I do, but a lot of these guys, they need more than just let me post a picture, a video. Like, they actually need somebody who cares about them. And when they sit in my chair, they know that I genuinely care about their well being outside of football. I don't really be, bro. For me to ask about anything on the football field with them is rare, unless they bring it up. Then of course I'll tap into it. But
Right.
I really care about their mental, their well being. Like, how's your family? How the kids? Like, everything good? And that's something as a barber, we're therapists, we're counselors, the
Uh
whole
huh.
nine, bro.
Uh
People
huh.
come to our shop or sit in our chair just to, escape what
Uh
they
huh.
got going on at home. And
Mm
man, it's a blessing to be trusted by some of your favorite players out there, to be blessing them on a weekly basis before game day. And just like you said, like, it does something to you as a player when you do get a fresh cut before the game, and it just take that swag to a whole nother levels.
Yeah. Like, what are some like the common things that they like to talk about though? Like, outside of football, because you cut a lot of these guys' hair. Like, what are some common things that you talk to them about?
Well, the most common thing is just like business, what they got going on as far as like investments,
Right.
stuff like
Exactly.
that.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
So even life after football, like matter of fact, shout out to K Lamb. He's one of our offensive linemen for the Dolphins.
Uh huh.
He's probably on his last year
Uh huh.
with just being in the NFL.
Uh huh.
And surprisingly, he wants to be a barber
Okay.
when he finishes the league.
Uh huh.
And it's stuff like that, bro. Like that's what you talk about when you
Right.
sit in the chair. Like, man, what you want to do after
After
football?
football, that's
Like,
very important, because I mean, you can't
yeah,
play football forever.
you can.
You can't catch a ball. You can't run touchdowns, tackle anyone forever. So,
Mm-mm.
what are you gonna do after football is gone? So that's you know.
Yeah, they
And
man.
there's any advice that you give them sometimes, like as cutting their hair, like just
Just more so like the advice I give all anyone who sits in my chair is just always do what's right. Whatever feels right for you, whatever you feel God is calling you to do. Pray about it. He gonna show you, he gonna
mhm,
lead you in the right direction. Just there's a saying I put on the wall. It was like, I already gave you the play. Like God already gave you the play.
yeah,
It's on you to run it.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
basically, that's with everyone.
uh
Like,
huh,
come on now,
uh
you
huh,
know what talent you have
right,
outside of football,
yes,
outside of whatever you do.
uh huh.
Just go for it.
I agree, man. That's big
Yeah,
time. That's big time. So like, let's talk about this. Like, I see that you have a connection with Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy
And
B.
I see that he did a lot of blessings and a lot of things in the community. I'm pretty sure he helped you in certain ways. What are some things that Teddy did to help you get to where you are?
That's one of the biggest blessings in my life. Bridgewater, two glove, state champ. Come
Uh
on now.
huh.
um, he actually it was around COVID, bro. Mind you, just like how you and I met, I cut your hair when you was at Gulliver.
Uh huh.
Same thing I did with Teddy when he was at the West, and he remembered that. And mind you, I've cut so many pro athletes. Never have I asked anyone to do anything for me or ask for money in any type of way. And one thing, like out the blue, one day he just asked me, like during COVID, everything was on lockdown, so you got enough time to sit and think. He just asked me a question that no one's ever asked me, bro. He was like, "Yo, what will take Kane's Barber to the next level?" And I'm like, "Hold on, bro." And it was late night too. I'm like,
So he text you?
he texted me that, bro. He texted me that. He was like, "What will take me to the next level?" It was two things that came to mind. Of course, where we at now is one of them, but this wasn't it. It was that mobile barbershop. And he told me, man, look into it, Steve, and get back to me. And I know how Teddy is, but if he say something, he gon' it's on you. He gonna see what you gonna do. And I eventually went on offer up, searched up Sprinter vans. I found one and I went to go look at it and it was clean. And I, took a little video of it, sent it to him. I was like, man, I think I found something, Teddy. He was like, all right, well, I'm gonna pull up tomorrow on you and we're gonna look at it together. Not thinking nothing of it. And literally, like the next day, he pulled up in his minivan. Mind you, you would think he a ball player, he gonna pull
Right.
up in some Rolls Royce.
Right.
Nah, but that's Teddy, bro. Teddy's like very humble, low
Uh
key,
huh.
a minivan, bro,
Uh huh.
blacked out.
Uh huh.
And jumped out and he was like, we looked at the van and he was like, man, if you like it, I love it. Pulled out his checkbook and signed it, gave it to the salesman and grabbed the keys from him. He was like, he said, Steve, I don't want nothing from you. I just want you to keep. being a positive influence, keep giving back. I remember what you did for me back then. So this was my gift. And boy, when I
Wow.
say just like I was just now, boy, tearing up when you was talking, I was boohoo crying.
Wow, man. Man, that'll do it to you,
But
man.
that's you need friends like that in life, bro, that will push you. And how you were just speaking to me, like, man, you need that with a friend.
Right.
He saw the goodness in me, and he
Right.
was like, I want you to keep going, Steve. Like, don't. At the time I was complacent. Like I
Right.
was good, like just cutting from the house,
Getting by.
getting by, cutting at the facility, but I needed something more. I need to really dive into my
You're calling.
exactly. And that lit a fire under me, dog. And I told myself from that day moving forward, I said, I'm gonna make it my business. Every year I need to keep going. I need to keep growing this brand. And he made me make my own logo, everything like
That's
every everything happened for a
a
reason, bro.
divine connection, man.
Exactly. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have this barbershop right now because I would have been comfortable cutting from the crib or just riding in my car to location from location. And there's more to life than just, you know, going like you have a calling, take action on it, like really dive into what God has blessed you.
I
And
agree,
that
man.
his friendship, what he did for me, he had to do it.
He didn't have to do that, but he saw something in you. And God told him, hey, listen, pour into this. Because I'm pretty sure someone poured into Teddy.
Yeah.
Teddy didn't have nothing, and somebody believed in him and said, you know what, you can be somebody in life. And probably now he's just returned back the favor. And
Mhm.
now I'm just letting you know, you just need to continue to return the favor to other generations and and then it becomes a domino effect where
Mhm.
we all can help each other. But
Yeah.
that's big time, man. And when I seen that, that brought chills to my body when I seen what Teddy did for you, because I know where you come from and I
Yeah.
know where you're going.
Mhm.
And things like that really does happen, and it gave me extra motivation. Like, one of these days I'm gonna get a blessing like that. And one of these days I'm gonna be a blessing like that to someone where
Yeah.
I can see them and do those type of things to them, and that's amazing, man.
So this where all the magic happen. If you don't want to come to the barber shop, I'll pull up on you in the Sprinter van.
Yes, sir.
As you can see, it's gold. And all the see how I have in the shop is like 8x10. So instead of that, I can't fit all that in here. So I made them as trading cards of all the players who I done cut throughout the years. But this is it. A lot of legends have sat in this chair. I got them to sign the walls. There's that wall. I can close it behind you. You come in. Okay. So
It's nice.
silver is, of course, their players, but gold is that they've won a Super Bowl before. So I try to make sure.
This is nice, man. This big time right here, man.
Right?
It's nice.
And everyone on this mural, they've helped in some type of way in my journey. Like they've been help to me. So that was my way to be like, thank you. And of course, I gotta put Teddy B in the middle.
Shout out to Teddy, man.
Teddy Bizzle. Yeah, we got. This is, by the way, this is the reason why I got his jersey on. This is my favorite player, Sean T.
Sean T, baby.
Never got a chance to meet him or
Right.
cut him, but
Uh-huh.
I know if he would have still been here.
You're the cut.
Eventually,
Sure.
yeah, I would have made sure. I would have had to make some calls. Hey, boy, y'all better connect me with T.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, this is Dion, Javaris James, Devon Best, Angel Rodriguez, Lamar Miller, Cameron Wake, John Beeson, Stephen Morris, EJ, Sonoris Moss, Mike Pouncey, Ja'Cory Harris, Lance Leggett, Julian Reams, that's who did this mural. Cortland Finnegan, Alan Hearns, Philip Dorsett, Bruce Brown, and Randy Moss. And I'm putting Frank Gore here. See, he signed.
And
For sure.
so you had the mobile barber shop.
Mhm.
You know, you traveling around doing your thing with the mobile barber shop. So how did you get your players lounge? Let's talk about the player lounge.
Players Lounge Barbershop.
Yes, sir.
Same, like, you know, I was tired of cutting from the house. You just can't let anyone at home. But mind you, in my space, like, if you're not referred to or, it's a player that I know, I'm not just gonna let anyone come into my home.
Right.
But I feel like a lot of barbers out there they start from the garage, from the backyard, from their home, and yeah, like it was literally I moved up here not about 2 years ago, up to the Davie area,
Uh huh.
and it's crazy because I was living in Aventura at the time, and I was just comfortable over there, bro. But once I moved up here, it's like everything just started changing for me in the right way. And maybe, I did need to move out of that old place I was at to find something better. And once I moved up here, it's like this opportunity came about and it was a no-brainer. Like, all right, what you gonna do, Steve? You gonna keep cutting from the crib? Like, or you really gonna get this brick and mortar and really be for the community, because I've always, mind you, I get a lot of DMs from people trying to book with me and whatnot, but I'm very like not I,
Skeptical.
skeptical and mindful. I don't just let anyone in my chair. Like, I gotta really have a connection with my client. Like, it's just to each his own. Me as a barber, I'm very like picky. I don't just want someone, mind you, I ain't with that negative stuff. So
Right.
when it comes to like drugs, all that, like the last thing I need is a client to come smelling like a pound of
I
weed.
agree.
So
Hey,
that's why
listen.
I
Right.
said like
No, I no, I agree.
I'm
Uh huh.
very like
Hmm.
anal on
Uh
who
huh.
I accept as a client.
Uh
Like,
huh.
yo, you know what? It's just like a relationship.
Right.
You got a chick,
I
you think
agree.
it's gonna work out,
I
but maybe
agree.
you go to my boy over here. He
Hmm.
does a good job too. Maybe y'all will fit together. But
Exactly.
for me, that's how I was
Because
looking
you
at
want to be able to connect with them. You want to be
it.
able to talk to
Exactly.
them and have things in common. And you can't cut hair with someone that you don't feel a connection. You feel like
Mhm.
you can't pour into this person.
Exactly. So yeah, once I moved up here, mind you, the old facility is right down the street
Uh huh.
for the Dolphins, and I you know how many times I'd roll by this place, this Waffle House, and not once did I ever think
So what was here before you were here?
it was a big warehouse. Like, I think they stored metal.
Oh wow.
But shout out to Clearview, which is the actual building, the company,
Uh huh.
which is they clean windows,
Uh huh.
well known company. They reached out to my partner Jose, which cuts with me with the Miami Dolphins,
Yes.
and me and Jose, we real close. Excuse me, real close, and not once did I ever think of partnering up with him to bring something like this to light.
It's
And
amazing.
yeah, he was like, man. One day he was like, "Man, why we've been working together for so long, Steve. We've never bumped heads. He's quiet like me. I'm very introverted. Like, I gotta really be comfortable around you to open up."
Yeah.
And with him, yeah, like I really thought about it. I said, bro, yeah, we ain't never bumped heads, bro. As long as we've been with the Dolphins, he always helped me. I help him. Whatever. If I can't get to a certain player, I know, hey, can you get to such and such for me? Because I'm busy. No problem. Never had an issue. And we decided to, you know what, let's do this together. It's only right. The Players Lounge Barbershop, him and I both started in the Players Lounge at the Dolphins facility. So let's do it. And it came into fruition. And look at it.
Wow,
Like,
man. God is
you
good.
walk in here, it's like history, like
Wow.
jerseys,
I see that, man.
photos.
So every jersey here is a player that you cut.
Yeah, every jersey. Yep.
Wow. Wow.
You
Nah.
see the name up there?
Man, that's amazing. So talk to me about how did the how did you start cutting for the Miami Dolphins? I mean, I remember you were at the Canes,
Yeah.
and I remember you cutting all the guys here in the Canes. How did you start cutting for the Miami Dolphins and being inside the locker room and getting a spot
Mhm.
in a facility where you can go actually in there. I read an article about how Brian Flores really liked what you were doing. So he hired you inside the building, created a space for you.
Mhm.
Like, so you even touched coaches. You touched a lot of people, man. And that's big. So tell me about that journey. Like, how did you get to the Miami Dolphins, man? This is and this is and I want this video to be inspiring for other kids, man, that
Mhm.
have dreams out here outside of football, outside of sports, someone that just want to do something with their lives. And you are living proof that it's possible.
Mhm.
It's possible. I mean, yes, college is everything. You want everybody to go to school, but sometimes school is not for everyone. But you made a way for yourself, and it might be a kid right now or adult looking at this video,
Mhm.
just trying to find a way. How was it possible for you to cut hair at the Miami Dolphins?
Well, if you look right above you, there's two men up there, Mike Pouncey and Cameron Wake.
Mm,
Mike Pouncey, I was actually cutting him when he was at Florida
hmm
with the Gators, and I ended up meeting him through a friend of mine who was there. Like, what was it? Uh, Their tutor, I think. You know, when them kid, when you're in college, you go to study hall and all
Yes.
that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
yeah, through a friend of mine who was doing that for them, and
Uh-huh.
they were coming down here to play for the national championship,
Uh-huh.
and they needed a barber. So
The guy hooked you up.
they said, "Hey, my peoples, they coming in town. They need a barber. I know you cut the UN players. It's time to, put that pride to the side. Get you a gator in the
And I know
can."
you a diehard
And
Miami.
boy, I was scratching my head. I was like, man, you know what? Yeah, I'm coming. They left. So I ended up meeting Mike Pouncey, and that was the team
Uh-huh.
that I tell people to this day, bro. Like, that's at the end of the day, I know that team with Sean Taylor, Trail, everybody, that
Yeah.
was by far for me the best college team to ever, you know, be out there.
Uh-huh.
Second, I would say Pouncey's team with Tim Tebow. There's so many like future Hall of Famers on that
Uh-huh.
team. Joe Hayden's,
Uh-huh.
his brother Marquise
Was Percy
Pouncey, Percy Harvin, like,
uh-huh.
bro, so many players on that team
Uh-huh.
that I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I took myself over there on they were staying, I want to say at the Fountain Blue. It was so many future Hall of Famers on that
And when you
team.
walked in, they seen you.
Bro, they seen me, and Mike, he was letting hey, he's very alpha, so whatever he says
It goes.
goes. So everybody was seeing Mike and his brother getting a haircut. So they was, man, I want a haircut too. Bro, when I say that specific team was I just had this conversation actually with Mike too. I was like, yo, that team right there that you were on by far was what introduced me to the NFL because a lot of them went first round, and I didn't get a chance back then with Sean Taylor and all that because I was still in high school. I
Uh-huh.
didn't know I was gonna be cutting hair,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
but their team was like an intro for me in the NFL because a lot of them, like I said, ended up going first round and became, big time players on their team. And eventually, Mike got drafted by the Dolphins first round. And I was like, yo, like, really? Out of all the people, Mike Pouncey get drafted first round to the Dolphins. And immediately when he got drafted, I text him, hey, what we doing? He's like, hey, I got you. And he was a man of his words. Literally, he would bring me to the facility. And at the time, we didn't have no barbershop set up or nothing. I would literally have to go cut them in the damn bathroom with them walking in and out like very uncomfortable because it just wasn't a barber setting.
Right.
But I had to make it happen. Like
Mm.
set a chair up, set my tools up, cut, boom, 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 and eventually people take notice. And Mike Pouncey was the first Dolphin. Then came Cam Wake. Then came one of my biggest players at the time Reggie Bush, and it was like a domino effect. And literally one day, like the following season, um, Cam he called me. He was like, "Hey," because at the time, he was a captain, and then Pouncey was a captain as well. He was like, "Hey man, we thinking of bringing having a team barber, and your name been brought up. They want to interview you, and it's a process, like working in that building or in any professional NFL team. They do your background check, bro. They making sure whoever they bringing in, they gotta have a clean slate. They just ain't gonna bring anybody in there. So, and that's another thing that I tell barbers, like, be mindful of what you post on your social medias, because even myself, like when I go to hire a barber, the first thing I'm gonna look at is your page.
You're right
Like
to see
what you be posting.
who are you.
Yeah. And same goes with NFL recruiters. When they recruiting a player in college, they want to know who they gonna invest all their money into when they pick that number one draft pick. Like, be mindful what you post. Like, everything don't need to be on the ground, you know?
I agree. No, I promise you, you're right.
So, okay, when I was going through the hiring process, they looked at it all. They seen what I was about. They called people down south at the University of Miami. Like, hey, you cool? You good? All right. The best thing was that they knew I worked around athletes. So they know I wasn't gonna be this person who be fanned out by being around all these players. So that was a good thing. And it was out of me and like four others. And it came down to me and Jose
Wow,
to
that's
be the
man,
team
God,
barber.
man,
And
man, God is good, man. So, like, explain to me what is the team barber though? Like, what is your job? Like, what was that job being a team barber? Like, are you on call every day that you got to go inside the facilities? How was that?
so yeah, like right now we're set on a schedule like Fridays and Saturdays, but for the most part, like, hey, if let's say Coach McDaniel or anyone, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey, they need you, boy. You got to go. Like just this past Sunday after the game, they beat Cleveland. Tyreek Hill, he messages me earlier today. He was like, "I need you tonight. Might get in late, but I need you to pull up on me." And it's stuff like that. Like you got to be mindful. Like working with these players, it could be if they need you at a certain time. Hey, you
Right.
gotta get your little nap in.
Uh
I
huh.
literally had to go cut them at like 12:30 in the morning, bro. I told Reek, I text him. I'll show you the text. I said, bro, I don't normally be going out this late like that, bro. You know, I'm a homebody. I don't like to be out after
Right.
a certain time. But I was like, you got to do what you got to do if you want to be one thing about a barber, you have to be consistent,
I
bro.
agree.
If you're not consistent, if you got to be on time, if you got an appointment, be at that appointment. If 30 minutes earlier,
Hmm.
10 minutes at least, like you have to be on time, bro. Because that is other barbers out there that want to be in your place.
Yes, they
And I
out there.
always have that in my mind.
Yes.
Like, ain't no way I'm gonna let the next guy take that call. If I couldn't get the Tyreek, I'm pretty sure he had a backup plan.
You already know that. So take advantage of the opportunity when it's there.
Exactly.
I
So
agree. I completely agree.
I don't care how many years I got in this industry, bro. I ain't taking my foot off the
No,
gas.
man.
Ain't no
No,
way. I'm
man.
letting the next man
Keep
come
going. I
and take
agree.
food off my plate.
I
Ain't
agree.
no way.
Man,
So
I completely agree. What is the most enjoyable moment you've ever had being in your position right now?
the most, honestly, is seeing the the happiness in my parents' eyes.
Wow, that's amazing, man.
It was
That's amazing, man.
yeah. It was when I had my grand opening. I just saw how happy they was. They like. can't believe my son, did all this, and like I said, I'm humble, bro. Like sometimes it'll hit me, like, damn, I really like this came from the bottom, from scratch. Hustled my way all the way to, get to where I'm at. But I'm always, always got a mom and dad. This how I do it for, you know. And yesterday, I broke the news to them about, nobody really know, but me and you, we spoke
We spoke to
about it. I
huh.
broke the news to them about, what I have coming in this year, and it was happy. But
That's amazing,
and
man.
just to see their joy and you know, man, it was because of them. Regardless of how much we struggled when I was at a young age, my pops was a hard worker, and I picked that up from him. And of course, my mom, she did hair, so it was things that were always around me, but I just never put two and two together to know, like, damn, eventually you're gonna have your own shop one day, Steve. And that was the ultimate goal of mine coming up. I want my own brick and mortar.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, but that's like honestly one of the. You would probably think it would be something else, but
No, that's
yeah,
just making your parents proud,
yeah,
man. Get what I'm saying, and knowing that mom and dad, I did this for us. I can do this. I don't want you to feel that because you wasn't successful in life that I couldn't be successful. Thank you for the sacrifices you made so that I can
yeah,
be. Because I'm pretty, your mom made sacrifices for you to be the way you are. You get what I'm saying? So
most,
I completely know how you feel about making your mom proud. And
mm-hmm,
that's everyone's dream. All these big time NFL players, they do what they do to make their mama proud.
exactly.
They score a touchdown, they looking in the stands to see what mama at, what my
Yeah,
mama.
where
So
she at?
hey, listen, I get it. I completely get it, man. Like I said again, man. Look, you motivation, man. You motivation to me. You motivation to the people. Um, keep doing what you're doing, man. Moving forward, what are outside of what you and I talked about? What are your goals? Like, what is your plan? What is your future? Like, what do you want really out of this? What is your ultimate goal when you leave this earth? What are you trying to leave behind?
Man, I think about that a lot. And
Like, if you ever to go out,
yeah, like,
what you want them to remember you as?
and that boy Steve was one good-hearted, hard. Well,
Uh
see, they
huh.
calling it
They
news
call.
this day. Ain't nobody cutting today, man.
They calling, man. They calling.
Ignore.
Oh
Yeah, leave
man.
that message. Ain't nobody working today, coach.
You can finish. I'm sorry about that.
No, you good. Nah, just to know, like, man, Steve was a good-hearted human who, did what he could with what he had to, give back and help not only the community, but more so helped the people under his umbrella to grow and want more out of life, because at the end of the day, all this blessing I have here, like I want to be able to continue to inspire the next generation of barbers to be like, man, Steve did it. I could do it. My story is similar to every other barber, how they started from the backyards to from the home to mobile. Like, if I can do it, they can do it. But for the most part, just always be remembered as like that huge impact that I have in my community to just keep growing, bro. Like, it's
Nah, it's big, man. Listen, man, what you doing is big. I'm telling you, man. It gives me chills, man, just knowing that things can happen. Anything can happen. Anything is possible if you put God first and you work hard, man, and you trust the process. And this show is called Real Coaching Podcast. And shout out to all the real coaches out there in the world. And I named it Real Coaching because That's what I do on the football field. That's what I do in life. I coach kids through life. And when I first brought up real coaching, I named it real coaching. A lot of coaches got jealous and offended because they thought I was saying that I was better than other coaches. But when I mentioned real coaching is about, being a great positive impact to other kids, not just winning football games, but actually being a positive role model and a
Mhm.
male figure to their lives. And that's what got me where I am today because I had a real coach in my life. I didn't have mom or dad. My mom was on drugs. I never met my dad before. I don't even know his name. I don't even know how it looked. My mom had 5 kids from 5 different guys. Um, my brother got shot and killed. My other brother's in prison. My sister passed away. It's me, and I got another one. Nobody in my family, my immediate family, has ever graduated high school. So I was considered a child at risk. I was considered someone that can't beat the odds. And I didn't know wrong from right. All I knew was the streets because my family came from the streets. Everybody in my family been in prison. My mom been in prison. And I found another path through football, through sports. And I was just a random kid on the park. Grandma walked me out there and across the street from the pub with a big T-shirt on, like, "Boy, you finna play football." I'm screaming and yelling, "I don't want to play." You getting out there and playing? About 5 years old, played, played, played. Pretty good at it. Had a chance to go to Gulliver. Met a guy named Earl Sims. Earl became like a father figure to me. Picking me up from school every day, taking me home, teaching me how to talk. We reading dictionaries in the car. Introduced me to God, took me to church, and that stuck with me forever, man. And it made me a better person because of that. It made me a family man, made me want to do right by my kid, my family, and just do the right thing for other kids in the world. And that's what real coaching was. It wasn't about me trying to see how many football games I can win. It's about how many kids I can impact, how many lives I can change. What can I do to change this kid lives? I got moms and parents texting me about their kids not doing well in school, me pulling up on them in school. And kids don't have dad at home and they acting out, and me being that male figure, them letting them know, oh, Christmas time, man, I'm gonna bring you some toys, or birthdays, or letting them stay the night to my house. And when I'm buying things, make sure that they eating and taking them out to eat and showing them different things, their lives and stuff like that. That's what real coaching is about. And I want to be able to use my platform to get other coaches to want to be a positive impact in kids' lives. Because if you can see it now, every day you turn the news, somebody done got shot and killed.
Yeah.
Drive-by shootings, kids entering gangs. Everybody want to be rappers and drug dealers. Nobody want to do things the right way because what kids see on the internet,
Mhm.
what they see every day with money, cash, diamonds, and all that, that don't mean nothing, man. And I feel like when God put us in situations to impact kids or impact people, we should do that, especially when you're dealing with kids. And I see you do that. You don't have to do what you do again. You going to Miami Northwestern gym, cutting all them kids' head. I looked on the Instagram and seen you 5,000 role model,
Mhm.
teaching kids how to put on ties, driving to different schools down south. Again, man, we need more people like that in the world. We need more people like that to really impact kids. So this is me using my platform to bring that to light, to bring positivity to the world, to bring more male role models, more male leaderships to the world where these kids can have somebody they can look up to. You being a barber outside of sports that shows kids you don't have to be an athlete to be successful, man. All you gotta do is have to have a grind and
Yeah.
focus, and you show it.
And that's one thing that, even like you said, with the kids being working around them on, I do a lot of career days, and in elementary and middle school, some of the things they push you to be are firefighter, police officer, or doctor.
Hmm.
Never have you seen them push. You could also be a barber. So that's one thing, like, that I'm very active in is career days. Like, I got one coming up. What? next week at Carroll City Elementary.
Uh huh.
But to really show these kids at an early age, bro, you can do it. When them kids walk into my sprinter van that we about to go, I'll show it to you. Man, they see just like in here. Like you walk in here, you see all the players. It's like, man, all these players really got a haircut in here. I was like, yeah. If I did it, you could do it.
And let them know you come from that, bro.
I come from
You
that
come from that. You didn't
free
go
free
to
lunch line, boy.
that's what I'm saying. You didn't go. You went to public school. You didn't go to a private school. You didn't, mom. You didn't. You wasn't Silver Spoon. You
Nah,
didn't have that. You come from that, and that's another thing. What I love about you, where like you show kids in the flesh, like I come from that. I'm just like you. You can
yeah,
do it. You ain't gotta sell dope.
at all,
You ain't gotta be out here robbing people.
at
You
all.
get what I'm saying? And I seen that growing up. Like I come from the grittiest. Like I remember waking up as a kid, my grandma's door getting kicked in. They used to call it the sting. Oh, sting out, jump out. Kicked when the grandma door in. I wake up, all my aunties, my uncles, they got the clear thing wrapped around their wrist, and they gone, so I've seen that. I've seen my uncles and rob people broad daylight, run and jump behind the wall, run inside the back door, the police on chase. I seen my little brother get murdered. I seen that. There's nothing gangster about that.
At
There's
all.
nothing cool about that. And I feel like us as men, we got to show these kids that you don't have to be like that. What you see on TV, you don't have to be you ain't got to be no game banger. You ain't got to be doing all
No,
that. You don't have to do that. For what? That don't get you nowhere. And I remember telling my little brother that the only place the streets will get you is dead or in jail. You will never be successful being in the streets. Selling drugs, you will never be successful. I done
mm,
seen them get the biggest drug dealer and take them down. You'll have a
yeah,
little run, but you can't be successful
man,
selling drugs in the street. So I feel like God bless the Steves in the world, the Teddy Bridgewaters of the world, all these guys who doing positive things inside the communities to really try to help these kids, and God put us in these situations where we can help these kids. That's huge, man. And I appreciate that, man.
appreciate you, man. Shit.
For real, man. So, what does real coaching mean to you?
Real coaching is basically exactly what you just said. You summed it all up for me, but yeah, just being that positive influence to someone who doesn't have that in their life. Myself growing up, I don't got no brothers, no sisters, but just I'm thankful. Like to this day, I thank God every day. Like yo, I appreciate you allowing me to stay down the right path because I easily could have veered off left or right and got into those things, but it wouldn't help my parents out.
And did
My,
you have a male positive figure that kind like who was
um,
that? Well, who was that person that kind of like steered you like, all right, Steve, was like on you a little bit?
honestly, it was just me growing up fast. Like I would have to catch the busway local to go to middle school and just being observant of the environment, seeing how people were. Like I would always be like, man, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to move like that. And I'm till this day, I'm very quiet. So I just be observing things, and I was like, man, I never want to be in a place like that or
Right.
like that.
Exactly.
Because my father, he don't really speak English like that, but I saw my dad work hard and same as my mom, but I always told myself when I do have a family, like I'm gonna be the difference maker. I'm gonna break that generational curse. So my I had to learn on my own, bro. To be honest with you, I had to
Hey,
grow,
sometimes you have to.
grow as I,
Sometimes it happens,
yeah,
trials and tribulations.
and I don't regret anything because it's made me who I am today. You know,
Amen.
so yeah.
Amen. Hey, I appreciate this, man. I appreciate this interview, man. Hey, listen, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Real Coaching Podcast. Um, I just want to give a huge shout out to Shot by Case, man. Uh, he's a proud sponsor. Thank you so much for pouring into this interview. Thank you so much for pouring into everything that we're doing. If anyone has any events that they're doing, that needs a photographer, Case is the guy, man. Shot by Case, he does it all, man. Anything you need, he's there. He's the man, man. Again, thank you guys so much for everything. Thanks for tuning in. Do you got any last thing you want to let the people know before we end it?
Well, yeah, I think we tapped on it earlier, but like three things as a barber, what advice I would give to the younger
Uh huh.
barber out there that wants to be where I'm at.
Okay.
One
Hey,
is
everyone, listen up. This is three advice
three advice.
that Kane's Bar is about to give you. Three advice. If you trying to be a barber out here, you chasing a dream, I encourage you to listen.
Three keys to be where I'm at is one, communication, two, self image, and three, what are you doing as a barber to be a positive influence in your community? You follow those three keys, I'm telling you, you will go far in this career. And when I say about communication, is being a listener. Them guys sitting in your chair, don't be having no ear pod or headphones on. Like really listen to them, because who knows? They might not have nobody that they can talk to or whatever they're going through in life. You're the barber. They sit in your chair for a reason. They want to, share what they got going on to you. You got to be the listener. You got to give the advice that they need, because who knows? God forbid that might be the last time they sit in your chair, but you were the person that they spoke to that could have changed their mind to really not, go that route in life. So with communication, always, listen to them. You never know what they're going through. And self-image is the second one. Be mindful what you post on your socials. Everybody watches. You know, don't everybody need to see what you got going on? All the, if you into those negative things, like keep that to yourself. Like to each his own, bro. But me, on my page, you see my page. Like if it ain't about them
I
kids,
don't
giving
listen.
back,
Trust me, I see it.
hey,
And you doing a hell of a job, man. I promise you, man. Listen, man. I had to make this thing happen. I promise you, man. I'm like, man, I gotta make this
yeah,
happen. I gotta start 2025 off the right way, and I need Steve
yeah,
in the chair.
come on now.
And I appreciate. I'm telling you, man. Listen, this did something to me, man. This lit me up. Just listening to your story just motivated me to just even want to do more into the
Mm-hmm.
world, to the
Yeah,
community, man. Again, Steve, bro. Look, we locked in for life, man.
hola.
I appreciate you. Anything you got, anything you need me to do, any events you got, you let me know. You can count on me. You got
Say
a brother
less.
that you can
You know
count
I gotta
on.
work with your
You
team.
feel me?
Come on,
Exactly. So
let's go.
so anything you need, man, just let me know, man. I mean, we here.
We here.
That's me right here.
Damn,
You got to send that to me, man.
that's
That's on your
crazy.
page?
Yeah.
I didn't even know.